is a presentation of the ACC Network, an exclusive production of Raycom Sports.
Pitt comes to Syracuse looking for momentum in the stretch run with wins over ranked Notre Dame and North Carolina. Syracuse coming off a big win over 12th ranked Louisville 3 days ago behind Rakeem Christmas. ACC basketball from the Carrier Dome now. Syracuse, New York is in a deep freeze of historical proportions. Coldest February in history. Things ready to heat up in the Carrier Dome, though, for the 105th time. It's the Pitt Panthers and the Orange of Syracuse. And hello again, everybody. I'm Tim Brand along with Dan Bonner. And Dan, when you look at Pitt, this is a team trying to build momentum toward tournament time. It's the stretch run. Jamel Artis is playing at a very high level right now.
He sure is, and for the Pitt Panthers, it's an important game because they can either play their way into the big tournament and play their way out. And this guy has been a key all year, Jamel Artis. Those are his numbers on the season, but over the last 11 games, he's averaging almost 19 points a game, shooting 56% from the field. He has become a very reliable scorer, and one of the guys who's having a great season, maybe a player of the year season, in the ACC, Rakeem Christmas. He's just been fabulous all year against Louisville, beyond fabulous. This ought to be an interesting inside matchup.
It always is when these two ball clubs come together in the regular season or the tournament. Pitt rolls into Syracuse having won 4 of its last 6. This is the stretch run toward tournament time. 30,000 expected here today. Syracuse is not going to the tournament, but for the Orange, this is a showcase game. Pitt, Syracuse coming up next.
By your Carolina Ford dealers. By Ruby Tuesday, official corporate champion of the ACC. By Hyundai. and by Food Line, official supermarket of the ACC.
A little walk down memory lane as you look at the national championship trophy here at Syracuse University. These are hardy folks. 30,000 expected today. It was 16 below zero this morning. Here are the starting lineups, and they're brought to you by Food Lion. First for Pitt, you look at Roberson, Cameron Wright. Artis is who Dan talked about. He has been on a tear. Michael Young averages 13 points, 8 rebounds a game, and Sheldon Jeter getting his 4th start of the year. But he has been on fire. Starting lineup brought to you by Food Line for Syracuse. Trevor Cooney's had some back problems. Joseph, he is your point guard. Benajay, Roberson, and there is Rakeem Christmas, and he has been flat out sensational. Jim Boeheim is the head coach. He's been here since 1976. Great run. Actually started as an assistant back in 1969. Never has gone deep into his bench, but he has a short bench this year. Jamie Dixon, 49 years old, played at TCU, became the head coach at Pitt 2003. Over 300 wins. Pitt has had 9 football coaches since he was hired to be the basketball coach. Pitt has it first.
Syracuse opens, of course, in that 2-3 zone, and the Pitt Panthers have shown the ability to attack that zone effectively over the years.
This is right, this is for 2, and it's down.
And that's the way you do it. You get inside the zone, and Cameron Wright, not much of a three-point shooter, but you get him inside that arc, and he becomes a very effective scorer.
An early lead on the road is always important. We mentioned Cooney has had some back problems, and here's a foul by Wright. That'll be his first, the team's first. Unnecessary foul.
Now you can understand Cameron Wright early in the game trying to do everything he can to keep the ball away from Michael Benajay. During the month of February, Benajay averaging over 21 points a game, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 steals. He's been outstanding.
Pass inside, last touch by Pitt. So with Jeter knocking that ball out of bounds, we've got 24 on the shot clock as the Orange bring it in. Hardy folks here in New York. It is some kind of cold. Benajay down the right side, tries to bank it in. The ball's still alive. And taken away by the Panthers. Pitt has faced quite a few zones here in the second half of the season. They think that may have prepared them better for the zone they always see at Syracuse, but I don't think anybody runs this one better than the Orange.
That's an Orange team that has some inexperience and a lack of size, and so the zone not quite as good this year maybe as it has been in the past.
Size wins out there with Christmas taking away the rebound.
Need to put the ball in the hands of Rakeem Christmas on this end early and often.
Here he is. They jump down doubling.
See, that's the problem. Christmas, you throw it inside to him, they can double team him. And with the exception of Benajay and Cooney when he's healthy, Syracuse doesn't have any three-point shooters.
Great job by Artis to knock it out of bounds. Dove to save it. Jamie Dixon loved the floor burns. 14 on the shot clock. Benajay inside. Very nicely done. Roberson finishes off a great entry pass.
Excellent movement by Roberson. Good pass by Benajay. But they were worried about Christmas inside, so Roberson has a little more room to operate.
They work it around down to the baseline. They get in trouble there. Inside they go to Jeter. He has been terrific over the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's what Jeter has been doing for him. He's given him quite an offensive spark. You know, he's a big kid. So it gives Pitt a little bit more size along the front line as well.
Sheldon Jeter has averaged 14 points over the last 4 games. But as we mentioned earlier, this is only his 4th start. He did start as a freshman at Vanderbilt. Drop step, kick it back out. Benajay looks at it. Entry pass. And the foul will be called on Young. And Christmas will go to the line. They are really bumping and grinding down low.
Well, that's what Rakeem Christmas is used to seeing. People are all over him. He catches the ball. He knows the double team's coming. Talk about strength right there. Just ripped through that double team and drew the foul at the basket.
He's been to the line 163 times this year. 71% free throw shooter, and misses the first.
Showed you the most free throw attempts per game in the ACC. He was 11 out of 13 shooting free throws in that 29-point performance against Louisville. This guy has had a fabulous year. You know, you talk about Notre Dame being the surprise team in the ACC. Well, you can make the argument that Rakeem Christmas has been the surprise player in the ACC.
You mentioned Christmas was 9 of 10 the other night against Louisville. He's 1 for 2 here early in this game. This is Artis, who's been quiet. Artis is 0 for 1. And this is going to be a foul. Jim Boeheim thought it was going to be a tied-up situation. Our Carolina 4 keys to the game, Dan, look like this. What do you have for us?
Well, for the Pitt Panthers, when they play well, particularly if their last 3 ACC wins, they've scored at least 76 points. They got to put points on the board, and for Syracuse, they got to keep Pitt out of the middle of that zone.
That foul was called on Caleb Joseph, and Jim Boeheim didn't like it. He liked the hustle, didn't like the call. Entry pass, turnaround jumper, a little bit short, bang the boards, and the follow by Artis. How about that? Artis with the follow after the entry pass from out front.
That's one of the things that the Pitt Panthers have done traditionally very well against the Syracuse zone. It's rebound the ball.
Show hands now, show hands, both of you.
You hear them. Show hands, show hands. They have been physical so far in this ball game. Kick it back out. This is for 3.
Oh!
And Pitt comes away with another rebound.
Oh my. Benajay blocked that pass with the side of his face.
He gives you a smile.
The Pitt Panthers, an excellent offensive rebounding team, and Jamel Artis, you can see in the middle of your screen, just working really hard. Michael Young got great position, tipped the ball. Artis is able to get in there and convert.
Way outside to Jeter. Almost let it slip through. He was looking over to right. What they've done early here is they've been able to penetrate that zone and get good looks.
That's what we talked about earlier, Tim. Syracuse has had a tough time this year keeping people out of the lane. Jamie Dixon likes what he sees, an early lead for the Panthers.
Just tell us your budget, and the Name Your Price tool helps you find a whole
far. It's a defensive battle here at Syracuse. 6-3 Pitt. The 2015 New York Life ACC tournament just around the corner. March 10th through the 14th. Now log on to the ACC.com. Visit the championship page for more details about the 2015 New York Life ACC tournament. And a little bit of a different format this year, Tuesday through Saturday, with championship game being in prime time.
It's like back to the old days when the championship game was played on Saturday. Now, unfortunately, in this year's ACC tournament, the Syracuse Orange will not be there.
Self-imposed tournament ban. Jim Boeheim anxiously waiting an answer from the NCAA to find out exactly what's taking place. Here's a good baseline drive. Roberson got it back, and here we go inside. A little sloppy with the ball. Cooney from three. Ball still loose. And the jump ball possession arrow will belong to Syracuse.
Boy, that's great battle underneath the basket. Now, not very efficient. They're not making many shots, but boy, they're going after one another.
50-50 balls look more like a fumble in football.
That whole thing started Sheldon Jeter playing away from Roberson, trying to force Roberson to shoot the ball. When you're playing that far off a guy, you can't get beat off the dribble.
See the Syracuse field goals struggling. Haven't scored for the last 2.5 minutes. Joseph dipped his shoulder. That'll be offensive. And that is his second.
You know, we talk about all the things that Jamel Artis can do offensively, but defensively, he just does a great job moving his feet, getting in front of Joseph, the dribbler. And Joseph, he puts that shoulder and arm into him. That's an easy call for the official.
And his second personal foul. Now, Joseph is the distributor. He is the facilitator. Not a great shooter, averages only 7 points, but 5 assists a game.
And you mentioned it earlier, Jim Boeheim does not go very deeply into that bench. He can't afford anybody in foul trouble.
This is Jeter, looks at the three ball. That's a brick. Cooney comes away with it, and this foul is picked up on Pitt. It'll be called on Sheldon Jeter.
You talked about Jeter and his abilities offensively that he's displayed over the last 4 games. Well, Jeter has 5 3-point baskets made on the season, and 3 of them he's made over the last 2 games. So he is not really a great 3-point shooter. That may have been a little early in the shot clock for Jeter to be launching up the 3, and that may be what Jamie Dixon is going to communicate to him as he walks over there to the bench. That's called a buzzer shot.
I'm trying to think of the shots Jeter missed against North Carolina. He was unconscious in that game. Ended up.
Oh, nice pass.
Rear eye 22, and they missed the finish. Here's Cooney for 3. On the baseline, the runner, the follow. Basket's closed for Syracuse. And knocked out of bounds by Artis. Wow.
Syracuse is doing everything but putting the ball in the basket. Rakeem Christmas with the nice cut down the lane, tries for the dunk and misses it. All right, let's try again. Missed the first one. Let's try this one. Nope. Syracuse is really building up the offensive rebounding stats.
Boy, that's a tough shot, but he'll go to the line to shoot 2. So Christmas will go back to the line where he's 1 for 2 in this game. Foul will be on Randall, and that'll be his first.
Now Syracuse, no field goals in 4 minutes, but they're only behind by 3 points.
Closed captioning for ACC basketball is brought to you by Bojangles' famous chicken and biscuits. It's bow time. Kim Christmas is 6'9", 250 pounds, a senior from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
And he is a young man who works very, very hard on both ends of the court. Those are his numbers against Louisville. Not too shabby. And the thing is, on the defensive end, Tim, he's actually got to be a little bit careful because they cannot afford to have him in foul trouble. But he has just been a horse on the inside offensively.
So it's a 2-point ball game. We're talking about almost 4 minutes for Syracuse for the last field goal, but it's not much better for Pitt. Using a lot of the shot clock here in the first half. This is for 3, but it's way long. That ball wasn't even close by Newkirk. Christmas backs in, back out to Cooney. Knocked away. Christmas taking it to the rack. Gives it up, and he walked. Jim Boeheim again comes out of his seat, wanted a foul.
where every time Christmas catches the ball, there are guys all over him. Now, Cooney didn't make a particularly good pass, but that's a very good idea to get the ball right back inside to Christmas.
Drop step, foul. This foul is going to be on Benajay.
And that's a really good idea by Young. Get the ball inside, go right at Akeem Christmas. He is a tremendous shot blocker. But if he gets in foul trouble, Syracuse really has a problem on the inside.
That gives Pitt a new 35 on the shot clock. And they are in absolutely no hurry. If they can milk the clock and shorten the game, they're happy. Artist from beyond the arc. Wow, it must be the weather. Cold outside, cold inside. Here comes Cooney. And he missed the layup.
I think Cooney is hurting. He is just not moving very well. He was worried about the block shot. He put that up there with 2 hands.
Young banks in the power move. I agree with you 100%. And Jim Boeheim alluded to it yesterday. He wouldn't talk about it, but he alluded that he's not 100%.
You know, now Cooney is one tough kid.
Nice pass. And the foul. Foul will be on Artis.
You know, there is nothing uncontested in this game. It has been very difficult for each team on the inside. And here comes Cameron Wright. Good catch inside by Young, but there he's got to beat both Christmas and Roberson.
Roberson is only a 59% free throw shooter. He played well the other night, had 13 points and 8 rebounds against Louisville. But at the line, it's been a struggle.
Obviously had a really good game against Duke, as you saw right there, but Syracuse really needs offense from Roberson to be as effective as they can be, particularly with Cooney seemingly a little bit hobbled.
Chris Jones in the ball game now for Pitt. He had been a starter most of this season. Today it was Jeter. Jeter left alone. They lost him. And he made him pay.
That was really good play in the corner. A tough double team, but presence of mind to turn and be patient and find the open man. That was a really good play.
10-5 Pitt early in this ball game. 12 minutes to play in the first half. Benajay with a good drive. Been an interesting first half. Very physical, low scoring.
It sort of looks like an old Big East game.
It does. That was their Syracuse first field goal in 6 minutes. And now Jones knocks down a 3.
And the Panthers offense is so much more effective when Jones is scoring, particularly from 3-point range. He has been a real X factor all season long.
Inside to Christmas. Another strong power move and had to go through an arm bar.
But you notice there was no double team because the guy who made the pass was Cooney, and Robinson could not afford to leave Cooney on the outside. So for once, Akeem Christmas gets to operate one-on-one.
This was last touch by Syracuse. It'll belong to Pitt. 25 on the shot clock. 11:05 to play in the first half. And Christmas and Jeter have been factors.
Brock.
things we talked about with the Pitt Panthers was, could they get inside this zone? You don't have to get very far inside. Just a little dump into the middle that forces the zone to collapse. And again, you get a good pass on the inside here. The guy who catches it in the lane, a jump shooter. Nice play by the Pitt Panthers. Get out of the double team. You can beat that double team. You can score inside. So the Panthers doing a nice job penetrating that zone. Jamie Dixon has to be happy about that. Now, he's not very happy about the offensive rebounding numbers. But the problem is, with all those, Syracuse only has 1 second chance points. So what that statistic means is that Syracuse is missing a lot of shots.
So Pitt has it with 23 on the shot clock. Robinson will go to the middle. They've been able to penetrate this zone somewhat. Get some high percentage shots. Not so much on this possession with 7 on the shot clock. This is for 3. And the domination on the board continues for Syracuse. And what a pass. Benajay is fouled. He'll go to the line. They just beat Pitt back down the court.
Well, Roberson just took off running. Totally confident Rakeem Christmas is going to get that rebound, and Benajay finds him. That is really a great pass, but Roberson took off because he was confident his teammate was going to get the rebound.
James Robinson saved the basket. But Roberson makes the first free throw.
And Tim, early in the game, you get the idea that the Orange had better be effective shooting free throws because they've spent a lot of time at the line already, and you don't think anything's going to change as the game goes on.
Jamel Artis comes back into the game for Pitt. Jones goes out. He already had that 3. And Roberson makes them both. It's a 2-point game. They double out. And he travels. Terrific defense, extended it, doubled on him. He walked.
Well, and what was the key, Tim? The key was the fact that they denied that dribble penetration. And then great hustle by Roberson, going around and getting that double team clamped against James Robinson. And Pitt does not turn the ball over very often.
Panthers come away from this one.
And Roberson just took an elbow to the side of the head.
Robinson scores. And now they'll stop because of the injury.
Well, there was no swinging of the elbows here or anything. Roberson was just trying to get the rebound, and as one of the Pitt players came down with the ball, they hit him in the head with the elbow. Going up for the rebound, and yeah, that's just Young coming down with the ball. This is a nice block shot by Jeter, I thought.
Yeah, and there was just nowhere to go for Young's arms, so it was completely incidental, but he is bleeding, and he'll have to leave the game. He'll have to leave the court. They'll take him inside and get him squared away. Well, let's take a look at the top 25 as we motor our way down to tournament time. And of course, I don't think there's any question about who's #1, Kentucky. But then look at all the ACC teams, Dan.
Well, you know, Virginia continues to have a great season. They don't score a lot of points, but they're outstanding defensively, and they scored just enough to win. Duke is playing really well at the moment. Quinn Cook, everybody talks about Okafor, but what a season Quinn Cook has had for the Duke Blue Devils. Notre Dame, we talked about them before, the surprise team in the conference. Louisville, they'll be stronger now that Chris Jones is back from his suspension.
Look at Syracuse offense today. What's keeping them in the game? They're 5 of 8 from the free throw line, and that has closed the gap.
But now that injury to Roberson, it looked like he took that elbow right at the top of his eye, right at his eyebrow. And so that might actually be a little bit hard to close that up. And it's going to take a while. And while he's in the locker room, we said they're very short on the bench. They can't afford to have anybody in foul trouble. So they've already got Joseph in foul trouble. And now Roberson's got to go out of the game. So they've got 2 starters out of the game now.
You saw Roger Ayers, the official, talking to Jim Boeheim. The officials today, Roger Ayers, Tim Nestor, Terry Weimer. Very good officiating crew.
So B.J. Johnson comes in the game, and that makes Syracuse a lot smaller.
Kick it out. Look at the 3. Take it to the baseline. Terrific defense by Pitt here in the first half. Benajay is a point maker. He goes inside to Christmas. Again, they double him. Patterson to Cooney. This is for three. So Randall's rebound gets Pitt going the other way. The Orange find it tough to get to the bottom of that basket.
Staying in it with their defense, though.
Robinson looked at it. This is a two. It was a two ball.
You know, again, he's got that funny looking shot, but inside the arc, Cameron Wright is deadly.
Patterson will penetrate, kick it out, but it was touched by Pitt.
Now, Patterson is not a very good three-point shooter. People play off of him. And so that's what he's got to do, is he's got to drive the ball into the lane to force people to guard him.
Well, now they're looking at blood on the floor.
Well, that's not surprising because Roberson was really bleeding.
So now they come out with the gloves and the towels and the chemicals, which I think is H2O.
Trevor Cooney 0 for 3 shooting from beyond the three-point arc today. He was 1 for 9 in the game against Louisville. And again, Jim Boeheim alluded to it yesterday that Cooney having a few back problems, a little bit stiff, and it's awfully difficult for him. He works so hard and plays so hard and just never comes off the court.
I wonder where the points are going to come from here. Now they call this foul. I believe it was on Jeter.
And that's a very good question. If Cooney is not going to be able to knock the ball down from three-point range, Roberson out of the game, and there are not a lot of scorers out there for Syracuse.
Dan, that was a foul on Jeter, so that's his second personal, and so he'll go out of the ball game.
And when Chris Jones comes in, this makes the size matchup a little bit better for Syracuse.
Jones was in earlier and hit a three ball. This is B.J. Johnson. Makes his first. Johnson just a 65% free throw shooter, but it looks like a pretty nice stroke, and he makes them both.
He's a guy who came into Syracuse with a reputation as a scorer, but hadn't really gotten a lot of opportunities.
As you could imagine, Syracuse now looking to the future, since they will not be in the ACC tournament or the NCAAs or any other tournament. They've got a top 10 recruiting class coming in for 2015 as they now look ahead. And again, Syracuse all over the boards, just dominating the boards here in the first half.
That's a great job by Patterson to just fight off that Pitt player.
Benajay misses a layup. He was right there. Tries to keep it alive, and it prevents, and it gives numbers to Pitt. And they miss a layup. The outlet pass to Benajay. Oh, we've seen him get behind that Pitt defense on the transition. Shot clock has not been a factor. Ice cold from beyond the arc.
What's that, 3 or 4 shots that the Panthers have taken that haven't even hit the rim?
Incredible.
Randall's going to have his hands full trying to keep the ball away from Christmas inside.
See the clock. We're approaching the 7-minute mark in the first half. Christmas, a little floater. Robinson will push it. Jones. Ball was tipped, and so it will not be double dribble. Hey, Jim Boeheim puts his hands up. Right with a little jump hook. Artis has it blocked. Ball still loose. It belongs to Syracuse. Boeheim likes likes it. Crowd likes it. Great hustle by the Orange. They're trying to squeeze out every point right now. 17-15. Production of Raycom Sports. It's also streaming live now on the ACC.com and on the official ACC mobile app. Today's coverage of ACC basketball is being broadcast on AFN, the American Forces Network. We welcome the nearly 1 million men and women of the U.S. Army, Air Force, Navy, Coast Guard, and Marines stationed around the globe in 175 countries and on the high seas. We're so proud to have you with us and hope you're enjoying the broadcast. We certainly appreciate what you do for us every single day. About 30,000 packed into the Carrier Dome today. What a great view, and it is so cold outside. One of the coldest months in history. Is the coldest month in history. Temperatures averaged about 10 degrees, and it is snowing right now outside the Carrier Dome. Hardy bunch up here in upstate New York.
And what the 30,000 have shown up today, what they've seen is an extremely intense basketball game. Not pretty by any stretch of the imagination, but these guys are really getting after it.
Go back inside, and every time they do that, it's a war down low. That low post has been a battleground. Here's Benajay to the rack, and he's fouled. Offensive. It's on Benajay, and that'll be his second.
So that's two Syracuse starters with 2 personal fouls, and a third starter out of the game with an injury right at the moment. This is one of those situations, Tim, with the way the charge rule is this year. Changed back to the old way. You just are very rarely going to get all the way to the basket. You have to be willing to get in there and stop and shoot a jump shot. You almost never see a guy get all the way to the basket. Anytime there's contact in there, it's almost always a charge.
Good point. Pitt hadn't had a field goal in 3 minutes now. They need one badly.
They haven't been able to get inside as well as they did earlier.
Artis is short with his jumper. It's off the front of the rim. This will belong to the Orange.
Well, now Benajay's got to be very careful, not only on the defensive end, but also on the offensive end. And if he can't take the ball and drive it toward the basket for fear of getting a charge, his effectiveness becomes much more limited.
Syracuse still dominating the boards, doubling up Pitt.
Well, you have to throw it inside to Christmas when he's open. He's not open for very long.
That ball's taken away nicely.
Open then.
Michael Young with a great play. Artis can't handle it underneath, and Cooney comes away with it. Patterson to the basket. He's played well since he got in the game.
That was really a good play by Johnson. He drove the ball to the basket, stopped before he committed that charge, and made a nice pass.
Good correction, Johnson. And he's played well since he got in the ball game. Here's Jones. They're looking for points from Artis, but he's been quiet here. Gives it back to Wright. And the Orange looking for the lead. Boy, you can hear that over here in the foul. Benajay will go to the line for 2. Time for our ACC basketball trivia question. Which Syracuse player has recorded the most career double-doubles in school history? You can find trivia questions like this and a whole lot more in the all-new ACC Trivia Challenge app. It's a free download available for both Apple and Android. We'll be back in the second half with your answer to the question.
Now look at Benajay here. He's going to catch the ball and shoot it. And that's something he used to dribble the ball. Now he just catches it and lets it go. And his free throw shooting has really improved during this month when he has been employing that technique.
It's an 8-0 run, and those those free throws have given Syracuse their first lead of the game.
See, a luxury that Pitt has is they can bring Derek Randall and Joseph Ochebo off the bench and have them really go after Rakeem Christmas. There's a lot of fouls there that Jamie Dixon can expend using those two guys trying to guard Christmas.
We talked about the terrific game he had Wednesday against Louisville. 29 points, 4 blocks, 8 rebounds. And every time he plays well, he carries this team on his back.
And he's carried the team on the back the entire year. He is having a player of the year type of year in the Atlantic Coast Conference.
He had those 35 against Wake Forest. And one of the best performances I've seen. He's one of the best low post players in the country without a doubt. One of the best players without a doubt. And it's a 10-0 run.
Uncharacteristically, Pitt has been turning the ball over.
That's a three by Jones, his second of the game.
Jim Boeheim very upset. He's asking Patterson, how come Patterson didn't get closer? Got to make Jones put the ball on the floor.
A bucket by Jones ended a 5-minute drought. Patterson underneath.
And Patterson has done a really good job since coming off the bench for Caleb Joseph. He's done a nice job getting the ball to the basket. He's rebounded pretty effectively and doing a very good job at the top of that zone. The Syracuse backcourt has been very active at the top of that zone.
Artis has been quiet. They're jumping out on him. Here he is for 2.
Syracuse doing a great job on the boards, and it's not just Christmas getting rebounds.
They back in. This is Johnson for 3.
Oh my.
Boy, what a good looking defensive zone by Pitt that time. Right.
Ochebo did a really nice job forcing Christmas to catch the ball well outside of his comfort zone.
Just over 2.5 to play in the first half. It's exactly what we expected. A very physical game. And this foul is against Syracuse. It's on B.J. Johnson. That's his first. 2:28 to play in the first half. It's a 3-point game. 15.5 minutes of this game, but Syracuse here is on a pretty good run, and they've taken a 3-point lead. Let's take a look at what's on the Ruby Tuesday game menu in the ACC. North Carolina roughing up Georgia Tech just a bit. The Yellow Jackets looking for the 4th ACC win of the year. Coming up later, Miami, Louisville, Clemson, and Duke. And you see the 4 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and the Sunday game. Notre Dame, Boston College, Virginia Tech, NC State, and Florida State, Virginia, as we head toward tournament time. Teams trying to build momentum toward the tournament.
Rakeem Christmas, 6 points and 7 rebounds, a couple of block shots, despite the fact that he's only 1 for 5 from the field. Syracuse has made only 6 field goals, no threes, 11 free throws. They're only shooting 25%, and yet they're ahead by 3.
Roberson back on the bench. Good sign for the Orange. Shot clock at 15. Skip pass inside. Young with a nice drop pass. And they come away with a bucket.
Well, that's a really tough basket by Jones. He took that right at Rakeem Christmas. I don't know how that one went in the basket. The Panthers now showing some zone.
Jones nearing double figures.
And the Panthers are in this zone to try to cut down on the dribble penetration that we've seen from Syracuse. They've done a nice job when they have been able to score a field goal by driving the ball to the basket.
95 seconds remain in the first half. Entry pass knocked away, battle for it, 50-50 ball again. These things have been the best part of the game. You talk about great theater. Every time it's on the floor, their body's diving. Reminder, coming up on the Hardy's halftime report, we'll bring you highlights and stats. We'll show the jersey retirement of 2 of Syracuse all-time legends. Everybody remembers them as Louie and Bowie. That show continues today at halftime. You don't want to miss that. Stay tuned for the Hardy's halftime report. Louie and Bowie show coming your way.
Jim Boeheim's first recruits as the head coach.
They won 24 that first year or something. I mean, that's incredible back then for the schedule that they played. First year they were on the varsity.
Jamie Dixon calls a timeout, but Chris Jones coming off the bench.
He's now in double figures.
That's now his 3rd 3-point basket. And Jim Boeheim a little bit concerned that they're not finding him out on the perimeter. He has been the only threat from out there.
He now has 11 points. Hey, the ACC and your local Toyota dealers are unlocking the ACC archives where you can relive over 90 classic basketball games, all for free. In the 2004 ACC tournament quarterfinals between Georgia Tech and Carolina, the Yellow Jackets lost an 11-point lead over the final 8 minutes. Trailing by 1 point with 1.4 seconds left, Jarrett Jack hit a game winner for the Jackets. Visit theacc.com/vault. Brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places.
Carolina up by 14 at the half. They had a rough night on Wednesday. They have to feel like they let that one slip away. They appear to be not going to let that game against Georgia Tech slip away.
Of course, Pitt beating North Carolina 89-76 last week.
There's Roberson back in the game with that patch over his left eye.
Looks swollen too. Christmas puts it on the floor. I'm not sure he meant to be.
But Christmas he is never by himself. I mean, look how hard he has to work. He's got the ball, it goes off his hip. But the ball goes anywhere near him and people are grabbing at it, double teaming him, triple teaming him.
That was a nice little segment by Uchebo too as he came into the game. This is Artis. Got 30 on the game clock, 17 on the shot clock. And again, Jones for 3.
That's great ball movement. Jim Boeheim a little bit frustrated. Pitt finally able to get that penetration, and then once they forced the zone to collapse and move the ball quickly, Syracuse just could not get back to Chris Jones. He's got 14 now in the first half.
He's 4 for 5 beyond the arc, 5 for 6 for the game.
And this is just great ball movement. Jonesy's done it on the catch and shoot. He did it that time off the dribble. He's been very, very good. And here Wright gets the penetration inside. The ball goes to the corner. The defense just can't react back quickly enough.
This has been a game of runs. Right now, Pitt is on an 8-0 run to follow up a Syracuse 10-0 run.
And a lot of that Pitt run is built on the three-point shooting of Chris Jones. And the Pitt Panthers, who have struggled a little bit offensively, have now made a couple of three-point baskets, and that always makes you feel better when that three starts going down.
Shot clock is off. We've got the final 10 seconds of the first half. Benajay drives, gets the roll. 5 seconds left. 2. It's good if it goes. Yes! Artis at the buzzer, and it counts. Pitt finishes on an 11-2 run, Dan.
Well, I don't know that there's an awful lot you can do about this if you're Syracuse. Artis hadn't made a three all day, only 1 for 6 from the field. Pretty good pressure there by Benajay and Christmas, but he knocks it down. Wow.
They're looking at it and reviewing it, but there is no question this ball was out of his hands and in the air before the shot clock went off. It is good. So that brings us to the half of an entertaining first half from Syracuse. We'll be back right after this.
ACC basketball is being brought to you by
There's only one chicken sandwich this exciting.
Come on, is that all you got?
Wendy's Asiago Ranch Chicken Club.
Welcome into the Wendy's Halftime Report. I'm Antonieta Collins. Coming up, we'll get you updated with everything that's going on today and join the ESPN Buzzer Beater Network in progress. Buzzer Beater features unlimited live cut-ins, highlights, and analysis from the biggest matchups throughout college hoops. But first, let's take a look at our Wendy's Wooden Award Watch. Today we look at Wichita State's Ron Baker. The junior guard is averaging 15.5 points and 4 rebounds a game while dishing out 2.3 assists per contest for the 13th ranked Shockers. Next up for Wichita State, they host Evansville tomorrow at 4 Eastern, and you can catch that game on ESPN2. All right, as promised, we will get you up to date with everything that's going on today as we join the Buzzer Beater Network in progress. Just a reminder that Buzzer Beater is available through participating TV providers and live on Watch ESPN. Enjoy.
Visible first half for Caddy Lillane. One minute left in the half. Dicing baseline, has his shot blocked by Tillman, gets it back, shot clock at 4. Davis puts it on the deck with 1.
He got fouled. Davis actually caught one across the hand, still was able to finish it.
Lead is 7. Pull up by Burgess, no good. Rebound kept alive, and then Davis has it. Less than a second difference, shot clock, game clock here. UMass will probably play for 1. John, if they can hit a shot here, they could pull within 5.
Bob, even if they don't hit a shot, if they can go into this halftime down 7, the way things have gone, you've got to have a lot of confidence coming out in the second half. Just have to make sure whatever shot you take, you don't give VCU a chance to go down and score. You don't want to pick up your dribble.
7 seconds left. Gordon is stripped. Shot clock 4, game clock 4.6.
A good time for a timeout if you want it. Derek Kellogg set something up. You got 4.6 left.
He's already used 1 timeout. I think he probably wants to go into the second half with 4.
I love having a chance to draw something up here. He's going to get the guys in that he wants.
Zach Pullman, 6'8" redshirt freshman, will replace Gordon.
And 4 seconds is plenty of time to make a couple passes and get a shot or put the ball on the deck and attack.
Want to avoid the live turnover here. Guest sends the inbound pass right back into the first row.
You got to be careful to telegraph. I mean, we teach young kids today, ball fake, ball fake, ball fake. Fake low, go high. Fake high, go low. You can't telegraph the pass. It's going to end up in row 6, seat 7 behind the bench.
Allie Cox replacing Tillman. Comes out to Davis. Hines with 2. Knocks it down at the buzzer.
That's a great finish of a very ugly first half for UMass. Only down 5. Make a good run. Derek Kellogg's got to have some confidence going into this second half.
So despite...
All right, UMass made it a 5-point game. Meanwhile, Capital One studio update. Seton Hall and St. John's. Seton Hall playing without Sterling Gibbs. Sir Dominic Pointer, the steal. Reminds me of old Tim McCormick there, the two-handed flush.
St. John's is clearly one of the bubble teams. They need this victory in a big way.
Steve Lavin's crew turning up the defense. Raishi, Jordan, steal, and laying the Johnnies up 4 at home. And they really have 2 homes. Madison Square Garden as well. Pointer, two-handed dunk in transition. Nice high-scoring game, but St. John's up just 1 at the break. Second half underway in Madison. Whiskies made it a 10-point lead now, stretching it out, trying to put Minnesota away.
Kaminsky, tough to stop for Minnesota. Also, the thing I like, did you know that Richard Pitino is a Rick Pitino disciple?
I am aware of that. In and out, though. And here's Bob Wischusen and Dan Dockich on the call.
We'll send it back into the photographers.
Koenig just kept his feet moving. Mason was coming. I mean, he was coming hard. Watch Koenig. He shows his hand, keeps it up. No chance for Mason.
Here's Hollins in the corner. They have to get Andre Hollins going, you'd have to think, to have a chance to win this game. He gives it up to Walker, and he muscles it up, but can't convert after he got to the rim around Kaminsky.
He got to the rim, got fouled on his shooting hand, so he adjusted to his left hand. I'd keep going to Walker, though, if I was Minnesota. I'd keep going here, too.
Kaminsky misses inside. Another rebound for Maurice Walker. Andre Hollins averages 15 points per game. He's a top 10 scorer in the Big Ten. He's got 2 so far and does not touch the ball. Here is King. Gets his shot blocked by Decker, but follows it up.
Yeah, anything in the paint is good. Settling is not good against Wisconsin because they will take the ball, get it down the floor, and get a good shot. But if you can get the ball stuffed inside, you're going to be effective against Wisconsin.
Shot clock down to 8. Hayes hits another jumper.
First time you saw a little disorganization. Couple guys in the same spot. Hayes got it. Again, held on to it. Fake, fake, fake. Mid-range jumper, good. Just hang on to the ball. Don't be in such a hurry to get rid of it. Or right here, he just started dribbling.
Walker over Kaminsky. That was smoothly done by Mo Walker.
I love it. That's the best shot you got if you're Minnesota. Get the ball to Walker. Make him an offensive threat, either scoring as he just did to the left shoulder or drawing help and finding.
Gasser hits a triple. The lead right back to double digits. Foul called on a reach-in by Gasser. Gasser shooting 42% from the field, 37% from 3.
Remember the first half, Gasser set a screen for a guy getting a 3? Look at Decker, look at Nigel Hayes doing it for Gasser.
All right, underway in the second half between A&M and South Carolina.
So much to like about Billy Kennedy's team at A&M. Alex Caruso is one of the best point guards in the SEC. Daniel House and Jalen Jones, a couple of high-scoring transfers coming off a big home win Tuesday against LSU.
It looked like he lost control of it momentarily, then came back down with it. Kind of a bang-bang play.
Now go back to Kevin, just catches that ball by the rim. Now he's not on balance, but just bend your knee, stop, and then just go up. They're going to either foul you, make a defensive play or make a great block on your shot. Now the matchup, Thornwell on House.
Sindarius Thornwell out for most of the first half with 2 early fouls. Preseason All-SEC second team. Baseline jumper too strong. Carrera now with 5 boards.
In the initial push down, Hakevich just runs the floor, tries to get position. He's not getting the ball, and he gets frustrated. He almost lowered his shoulders in a slump, thinking, okay, I've done my work, I get position, I'm not getting touches.
That's problematic.
And you got to throw it in there. You got to reward the guy. He doesn't have to shoot it, but he's running the floor now. He's being banged by Robertson, one of the better interior defenders in the SEC. I get that. But he runs, big guys run, they position, he's moving, no touch, shoulder slump, and then it becomes an ineffective possession.
Gamecock Bigs very effective in the road win against Georgia on Tuesday. Effective defensively here as Jones hits the deck.
That's what Jalen Jones does so well. He can put on the floor, he clears space.
Thornwell.
Yeah, terrific play from the weak side. He cleared space out with his shoulder on Carrera, the guy guarding him, so it'd feel like you've got freedom. Thornwell came from the low right side of the baseline all the way across. Outstanding play.
We've got to find a way to get him going on both ends of the floor. Here's House. A rare miss.
Well, his first one, he's had to move. I mean, he's a great shooter, but you must make shooters do something they're not comfortable doing, especially the afternoon they're stroking.
And John, that was his first attempt from inside the three-point arc today.
Wow.
Oh, look, dish. Wow. Pretty look in the end, one opportunity.
Wow. What a pass by Johnson, and Jalen Jones didn't see it. Again, see man, see ball. You got to see the whole thing. His head was turned, and Johnson throws a fastball. Watch where Jones's head is, doesn't see it. Moving right over the top. Good catch, good finish.
We had the vantage point courtside. I don't know how he saw it.
Yeah, I don't either.
And 12 points now for Michael Carrera. Lead is back to 10.
Early empty possession so far for the Aggies. You don't want this to slowly get back to a close game.
Caruso in and out. Well, sometimes you make those three-point shots early, John. It could be fool's gold in the second half.
Well, again, in the energy, you've got to make your own energy on the road. You understand that the home team's going to come out and play better than they just played. Well, I think their shots, when they catch it, they probably ought to shoot it, because that's a much more difficult shot than the one he had in the corner.
Offensive foul. That'll go against Johnson.
The other part about catching it and shooting it, when you have an opening to shoot the ball, you shoot it because your rebounders know you're going to shoot it. We've had ball fake, we've had pump fake. Now he puts it on the floor, goes in, charges, and your rebounding guys are now trying to figure out when do you shoot and when not.
It's a good call there by our veteran officiating crew led by Tony Green this afternoon. Aggies open the second half 0 for 4 from the floor. House will try to change that. Inside, Jones with a flush.
Ball movement. Got fortunate. Caruso made a pass. Thornwell had his hand on it. That ball floated.
Approaching 16 and a half minutes to play here in Columbia. Hakevich turns it over. Caruso.
We hope you enjoyed the fast action coverage from ESPN's Buzzer Beater Network. We'll continue to provide this service Wednesday nights and all day Saturdays throughout the college basketball season. That's going to do it for this Wendy's Halftime Report. I'm Anthonyetta Collins. Enjoy the second half.
If you want to
Toyota, official corporate champion of the ACC. By Hardy. And by Geico, official corporate champion of the ACC.
It was 16 below zero at midnight. This is what the folks that go to school here were eating down at the Varsity, the famous pizza at the Varsity. I think the 44 closed. 44 huge up here in Syracuse. Right now, Pitt leads Syracuse 31-25 as we get ready to start the second half. Let's go down to Chapel Hill. Take a look at Carolina and Georgia Tech.
Well, we said North Carolina leading big at halftime, and they've done it getting the ball inside. First Kennedy Meeks, and then Isaiah Hicks, who has played very well at times recently for North Carolina. He gets 2 field goals, and then a nice pass inside to Meeks. The Tar Heels with a tremendous inside advantage against just about everybody. They're up by 17 right now. And Syracuse, their inside advantage all year has been Rakeem Christmas, but he has found the going very, very difficult today.
Carolina trying to go to 9-5 in the ACC and gain that momentum as we head toward the ACC tournament. You look at the leading scorers in this game.
When Chris Jones comes in on the season, averaging only 6.6 points a game overall. Almost 9 points a game in ACC play, but those 14 points off the bench have been key because Michael Young, who did not score at all against Virginia, has only 2 points in today's game. James Robinson only has 2 points.
You mentioned this early, though. Jones with 32 three-pointers coming into this ball game. Well, the 2015 ACC Legends presented by New York Life will be honored at this year's tournament in Greensboro. The Women's Legends Brunch will be held on Saturday, March 9th, while the Men's Legends Lunch will be held on Friday, March 13th. For tickets and more information on this year's Legends, visit theacc.com/legends. Love to see you there. I'm honored to be a part of that luncheon. All set to start the second half here at the Carrier Dome. Pitt Panthers 17-10. Syracuse 17-9. Panthers trying to build that momentum down the stretch here in the regular season.
Pitt, that finished the first half playing zone, is back to the man-to-man. And immediately there's a foul called inside against Ochebo.
Ochebo gives a sarcastic smile.
Well, again, Ochebo is not in the game for his prowess on the offensive end. He's in the game to try to contain Rakeem Christmas, and if that causes a few fouls, then that's okay.
Christmas has it blocked from behind, and a foul called on Artis, and that'll be his second.
And Artis, for the most part today, has been very quick creating that double team, that time just a step slow.
Michael Young will come back into the ball game after the first free throw. 2 quick fouls here. Christmas.
Well, the reason that Ochebo is starting the second half is Michael Young did have 2 personal fouls. Pitt working very hard to contain Rakeem Christmas inside, and you're not going to do that without fouling.
Misses them both. Christmas is a 71% free throw shooter, usually very solid. 9 for 10 at the line the other night.
Only 4 for 8 today, however. Michael Young just not able to get anything going on the inside for the Panthers.
Boy, they jump out on Jones. They know that hot hand from the first half.
Well, there's Michael Young.
Young
finds that spot in the short corner. Young is most noted for his play around the basket, but he can step out and shoot that short jump shot.
The lead is 8. This is a 2. His foot was on the line.
And that's really the problem for Syracuse. You pitch the ball out to Caleb Joseph out of that double team by Rakeem Christmas, and Joseph is just not an effective scorer. And there, Michael Young, first time he's really been able to operate effectively against Christmas inside, and Jim Boeheim, very discouraged, calls a timeout.
So Young comes back into the ball game and has an immediate impact. It's a 10-point lead, Pitt's largest.
Syracuse only 7 made field goals. And, it's been part of the problem for Syracuse all year. We talked to Jim Boeheim yesterday, and he said our problem is we can't shoot.
Absolutely. And Pitt is on a 15-2 run in the last 4 minutes and 58 seconds, going back to the first half.
Well, the Panthers have got the offense cranked up at the end of the first half. And they have done such a great job shutting off Rakeem Christmas inside.
Oh, great pass. Phenomenal finish by Christmas. Remember now, Joseph came out in the first half and sat for a long while. He gives him a little bit of energy coming back.
That's a nice pick and roll. Christmas doing a very nice job getting to the basket. It's hard to double team a guy who catches it on the move.
Back to Artis. Steps back. Shot is short.
Now Syracuse climbed back in the game in the first half, and they've got to do it here in the second half.
Christmas drives down the lane. How about that strength?
Wow. And Christmas can afford to be very aggressive because he doesn't have any fouls yet. He managed to get through the first half with no fouls. And if they can get him actively involved there, both guys go with the dribbler, and why Joseph Ochibo would go with Caleb Joseph is a mystery, because that leaves Rakeem Christmas all alone, and Caleb Joseph, who struggles shooting the ball, no problem passing the ball. And then Christmas, he gets the ball at the top of the key and just bulls right into Joseph Ochibo, who can't move his feet quickly enough to keep him away from the goal. That is one tough shot. That is one tough guy.
Jim Boeheim, as you mentioned, talked about how often he gets hit in these games. He is big, strong, and as you said, mentally tough.
Well, you know, I think coaches always talk about that, but that, let's be honest, from the time basketball started, that is the fate of big guys inside. If you're going to play inside, you can't be looking around for the referee to bail you out. You just got to bull your way through, and Christmas has done a great job of that all year long.
He does it better than most. See how the Panthers respond. Drop step, jump hook, bang.
Wow, we just talked about the fact that Michael Young only had 2 points in the first half. He's got 6 already here in the second half. He has been very aggressive, taking it right at Rakeem Christmas.
Ball knocked out of bounds. 25 on the shot clock. It'll stay with Syracuse. Very entertaining basketball game.
Yeah, very interesting. Keep in mind, Trevor Cooney has not scored in this game yet.
Benajay. Joseph running one-hander. Follow. It's Christmas. No. Correction. Who got the hand on Roberson?
I think it's Roberson.
Yeah,
and
Roberson over the top.
And he got hit in the face again. He looks like he's been in a fight, and now he's going to feel like he's been in a fight.
Trying to penetrate the zone. Wright does. Another rebound for Christmas. You know Joseph's not going to take that shot out there.
If he does, he'll come out of the game very quickly.
Exactly.
The Panthers now drop back into that 2-3 zone.
Back outside. Here's Joseph. Penetrates, throws it away. James Robinson misses the layup. Look for a foul call, didn't get it. Cooney for 3. Back outside to Joseph. Oh, how about that pass? Over the top.
How did that get through? My heavens.
37-33. It's an 8-2 run by the Orange.
Robinson looks over the defense, resets, 10 on the shot clock. His foul will be on Joseph. And that's 3 on Joseph. We'll be back and assess it after this.
Time to get in the zone, auto zone, and Rakeem Christmas certainly has been in the zone in this second half today. 6 points in the first half, already 6 points here in the second half as he has been able to avoid those double teams and get the ball to the basket. Caleb Joseph doing a nice job with some penetration and finding Rakeem Christmas inside.
So you look at his numbers, 6 in the first half, 6 already here in the second half. Meanwhile, Trevor Cooney, who averages 14 points a game, is 0 for 5 from the field. Now, we mentioned he's not 100%. He's had some back issues, but he was 1 for 9 against Louisville Wednesday night. He's 0 for 5 here today.
Well, and he's doing something right now that he never does, and that is he's on the bench resting.
Exactly. But they miss those points that he usually gives them. Great putback by Artis.
That's a really nice penetration inside that drew the defense. Boy, Roberson, he's got the patch on the eye. He's got cotton stuffed up one of his nostrils. It's been a tough game for him.
That eye's just about swollen shut, too. On the baseline, kick it out. This is Joseph for 3. Not the shot Syracuse wanted, but they needed it at that instant.
Well, Joseph only a 20% three-point shooter.
Shot clock had become a factor there. Artis gets double teamed, has the ball taken away, gets it back and kicks it out. Very nice 2-ball.
Well, that's Chris Jones again, and the Pitt Panthers are certainly glad they brought him with them today. You know, that is 16 points in the game now for Chris Jones.
How about the high percentage that he's shooting? Here's Joseph again, top of the key.
Well, the Orange have had problems today on the offensive end, basically. They've gone through stretches where they just can't get the ball to go in the basket.
They haven't been able to penetrate the zone. Shot clock down to 5. This is from way outside for 3 and bottoms. How about that shot by Ron Patterson? He was 8 for 49 from beyond the arc coming into this game.
Well, and you can see the big grin on his face, and that's the kind of grin you get when you're a 16% three-point shooter and you knock one down.
Threw it to Jamie Dixon.
Well, he was open.
He was open.
See, that's what happens. Maybe he's got to wear a lighter colored suit when they're wearing those dark uniforms.
You know, we're being facetious, but that's a great point because he got caught in the air, and out of his peripheral vision, he just saw the dark one over there. You're right.
On Jamie, he didn't even try to catch it. You know, he stepped out of the way.
He's better than that now. He's a pretty good player at TCU.
Now the Panthers in this zone to cut down on that dribble penetration. Michael Benajay has been very quiet today.
41-36. Great pass underneath. Again, it's Christmas, and that was a gift from Benajay.
The danger when you play zone is you can lose track of Rakeem Christmas. He just got behind the defense.
Crowd now comes alive. Last touch by Syracuse, and a good call by the officials. Crowd doesn't like it.
Well, one of the guys you can't forget about is Rakeem Christmas. Look, everybody on defense is up. They're looking that way, and so nobody's paying any attention to Christmas. And my heavens, you've got to find him if you can find anybody.
Jones has had a hot hand in this game. Artis, though, shoots. And tickles the twine for two.
You know, particularly over his last 10 or 11 games, Artis has shown the facility to make big shots, and that was a big basket right there. The momentum, you could just feel it going the other way.
Joseph lost it out of bounds, but it was touched and knocked out by Pitt. 25 on the shot clock. Jamel Artis has started 27 games in Pitt. He averages 13. He's playing well here and will have to down the stretch.
Ruby Tuesday.
Show you how easy this game is. From the lounge chair at the free throw line, bang. That's for $500, and that fan is going to go home happy. Meanwhile, the ACC fans, how about Haviland? It's giving you a chance to win a VIP trip to this year's tournament and a chance to make a half-court shot for $1 million. You just saw how easy it is. You and a guest will get to enjoy the tournament VIP style. Then at halftime of the semifinal game, you'll have a chance to shoot for $1 million. Enter online today, theacc.com/million. So enter theacc.com/million. Guy had a pretty good stroke.
Panthers back to the man-to-man.
It's been a terrific ball game. Low-scoring game, but very, very intense. 50-50 ball again, tied up, possession arrow going the other way.
And that's exactly what you're talking about, Tim. Every time that ball has gone on the deck, there has been at least 2 and more likely 4 or 5 guys down there after it. And once again, we see that when Syracuse has been having problems in this game, the problems are on the offensive end.
It's been a well-officiated game. Roger Ayers, Tim Nestor, Terry Weimer do a great job. There are 30,000 fans here today at the Carrier Dome, braving the cold and snow. And there's the foul on Young.
Well, we mentioned Young. He only had 2 points in the first half. He's got 8 points now. He has been a big part of the offense for the Pitt Panthers here in the second half.
Meanwhile, Michael Benajay picks up his 3rd personal foul for Syracuse.
A lot of pressure on Benajay. He's got to play on the back line of that 2-3 zone, and he's a little bit undersized to do that, particularly going against a guy as powerful as Young.
Well, there's that Syracuse bench, and it is very short.
And you don't see Trevor Cooney on the bench. He's back in the locker room.
Tyler,
that is a very rare thing because Cooney in ACC play averages 39.9 minutes a game.
Meanwhile, Tyler Roberson, he's got his left eye almost shut from being hit earlier and cut. Benajay with 3 personals, so Syracuse in a little bit of a pickle right now. Kick it out. Patterson for 2. Yes.
The game becomes much easier when the ball goes in the basket.
Amen to that, brother.
And Patterson, a guy who's been struggling with his confidence all season long, he knocked down that 3.
5-point game, Dan. Exactly what we expected.
Now Patterson, I think, is going to pick up that foul. No, it's Benajay. They just called it on Benajay.
That's 4.
Oh, my. And there's Cooney back on the bench. And remember, he doesn't spend much time there in ACC play. But he looked like he was moving stiffly the entire game. He just didn't move like we've seen Trevor Cooney move.
And yesterday at practice as well. That's what you were talking about.
Well, that's overall, but in ACC play, it's 39.9.
Nice skip pass to Artis. That was set up by the entry pass. Nicely done by James Robinson.
Pitt doing a nice job in this half, as they did early in the game, penetrating that zone. And a little bit of an odd lineup in there. Johnson in, Benajay out, Patterson in.
Here's Joseph for 2.
So he's just not a shooter. He's not a jump shooter.
Ahead to Jones, looked at the 3. Got caught in the air. That was a dangerous pass back to Robinson. How about that shot by Young? Wow is right.
So Syracuse they've got to do a better job on this end. They've got to find somebody who can score some baskets. And generally when they need that person, they go inside to the big guy. He's asking for the ball.
That's a walk. That turns it over.
Jamie Dixon very happy with that. And he's also very happy with this. Michael Young with the fake, gets Rakeem Christmas to commit, and then makes a circus shot going to the basket. Good recovery by Christmas. Cooney now back in the game. Last 2 games, you can see, has really struggled from beyond the 3-point arc.
Young again. Kicks it back to Artis. Great ball movement. How about Young inside, and then all of a sudden here comes Robinson to chip in. And Jeter, with the follow, couldn't get it to go down, and he'll go to the line.
Once again, we see Pitt getting the ball in the middle of that zone and forcing the defense to react. And when the defense has to move that much on an offensive possession, it opens up offensive rebounding lanes.
Jeter has been playing at such a high level here. Had a career high 22 points against Carolina. Last 4 games, he's averaged 14.
What's interesting, we really haven't seen that much of Jeter today because Chris Jones has been playing so well. Here's Ochibo back in the game. He's in there to push Christmas.
Jeter makes them both. It's a pretty good looking stroke for a guy who's only 59% at the line.
That may be just a product of not having a lot of opportunities.
This is Pitt's largest lead. They double down. Boy, that's great work inside.
I mean, he just fought his way through the double team, and he's got no choice if he passes it back out. Even if they get an open shot, they haven't shown the ability to knock those open shots down today.
Timeout, Pitt. 8:23 remaining in this ball game.
And Michael Young, he committed 2 fouls in the first half and didn't play a lot, only had 2 points in that first half, but he's made up for it here in the second half. His ability to get the ball close to the basket and maneuver, even against Rakeem Christmas on the inside, has been outstanding. This play, how he gets the ball up to the basket, I do not know. And this is what we're talking about, his first half and second half. He's got 10 points here in the second half, but in the first half, he was very limited because he had 2 personal fouls.
He's scored in double figures, 16 in the last 19 games.
This is what we have seen from Pitt recently. They scored 76 points against Notre Dame. They scored 83 against Syracuse. They scored 89 against Louisville. I mean, when they score effectively, they can be really tough.
Haviland has given you a chance to pick this year's All-ACC first and second teams. Just log on to the ACC.com/fanvote to pick your all-star lineup, then check back during the tournament to see who makes the fans All-ACC team. Cast your vote on the ACC.com/fanvote today.
And I said that Pitt scored 89 against Louisville. They didn't. They only had 49 against Louisville. That's why they lost. They scored 89 against North Carolina.
Robinson trying to penetrate this zone a little bit. Artis, great pass to Young.
And we've seen the Panthers with dribble penetration, sometimes with offensive rebounds, that time with just great interior passing, breaking down that Syracuse zone.
This is for 2. Oh, it's good. It was beyond the arc. I thought he had a toe on the line. It's a 3-ball, and that'll help. Robinson again with a great entry pass. Pitt gets it back, and Robinson says, hold on.
And last couple of possessions, Pitt has been able to secure offensive rebounds. Something they do very well overall, but have not done a good job at today.
Man, James Robinson's been doing a great job out front here.
He's on the line right there.
And then Wright throws it away, but they get it back. You've been talking about Michael Young and the impact he's had. We'll be back after a word from your local ACC station. Well, down in Chapel Hill today, they're remembering Dean Smith. As you look at Coach Williams and his Tar Heels winning big today over Georgia Tech.
Well, here they go as a tribute to Dean Smith. They go to the Four Corners. Very emotional for Roy Williams. You know, Roy Williams obviously was very close to Dean Smith, and even though he knew that Dean was very sick, it's still a shock when you lose somebody to whom you are that close.
A great tribute. Meanwhile, here at the Carrier Dome, 7:02 remaining in an 8-point game.
And you're talking about James Robinson. You're absolutely right, Tim. He only has scored 2 points, only made 1 field goal, but he has 8 assists in the game.
Here he dribbles into trouble. Possession arrow goes the other way.
So the Panthers will turn it over. And remember, they had that short stretch in the first half when Syracuse got back in the game when they turned it over a couple of times. But that's been their only turnover trouble today. That's turnover number 6 for the Panthers.
Those turnovers helped a 10-0 Syracuse run in the first half.
Yeah, but that's something that Pitt doesn't do very often, is turn the ball over. Fewer than 10 turnovers a game.
Sheldon Jeter goes back out of the ball game.
So Benajay back in there with 4 personal fouls.
Young and Christmas really banging. This is Christmas. They double him.
Well, they tripled him, actually.
Johnson for 3.
And Johnson made him pay for it. Syracuse has to find somebody to make some shots. And the last couple of possessions, it has been Johnson.
B.J. Johnson coming up big.
And now the Orange are right back in it.
And so is the crowd. Artis with the turnaround, answers.
Boy, another big shot for Artis. That's a couple of times today that he has made shots that appear to be momentum changing.
Christmas with the pick and roll. Johnson again's got the hot hand. Thought he got undercut, whistled the foul. They call this on Young. That'll be 3.
Well, this is a foul that is created by the fact that Rakeem Christmas goes very hard to the board.
And Michael Young picks up his 3rd personal. Christmas just asking for the ball.
And Young just fouled him again.
He's got to go out. He's got 4.
Well, this is a situation where this isn't a hard call. Young just whacks him. Wow.
Those guys are actually whacking each other. And it's been that way, as you said, since the game started.
Well, that could be a problem for the Panthers, because even though they've got other guys they can bring in to guard Christmas, they don't have anybody that can play offense the way Young can.
Benajay is fouled. And as soon as they get Randall in the ball game, he picks up his 2nd personal.
Well, Benajay is very good when he is attacking the basket, and with those 4 fouls, he actually has to be a little bit careful. But that time he saw an opportunity, got to the line, drew the foul.
And he misses the 2nd. Getting very interesting at the Carrier Dome.
Looking for a stop, obviously, if you're the Orange.
Shot clock down to 13. Artis from 3, way out. Beyond his comfort zone. This foul's going to be on Randall. That'll be his 3rd.
This is what we saw from Syracuse when they made their move early in the first half, just continuing to attack, particularly off the dribble. And Jamie Dixon, he's looking for somebody who can play that post position without fouling.
So Sheldon Jeter goes back into the ball game, and Randall goes to the bench. turnaround by Christmas. You know, we talked about the 50-50 balls. How about when the ball is loose coming off the basket? 4 or 5 guys around there going for the rebound.
Christmas a little frustrated with himself that time. I think he felt as if he should have had that.
Again, they'll milk a lot of this clock. It's down to 11. A lot of contact, no call. Jones has to go. Nice pass to Artis.
Boy, that is great ball movement and great patience by the Pitt Panthers. An awful lot of pressure applied by Syracuse, and Pitt was able to get out of it.
Christmas has it stripped away, and now this foul will be on Christmas. That's only the first on Rakeem Christmas.
I think he was a little bit frustrated that time. He took one too many dribbles. He was trying to get himself in position, and you can certainly understand him trying to do that. He expects double teams coming from everywhere. Jim Boeheim has to be a little frustrated, as does Rakeem Christmas.
Tyler Roberson now has his jaw just dropped, trying to breathe through his mouth. As you mentioned, he's got the the nostrils stuffed.
He's got his nostrils stuffed. He's got that patch on his eye.
I'm assuming they stitched up the eye, but it is swollen. This has been a throwback game. This has really been physical. Here's Robinson. Shot clock is at 8. Halfway down, comes out. Christmas ends up with it.
Nice job by Roberson. He couldn't get the rebound, but he could tip it away from Pitt. And Syracuse is really playing 4-on-5 on the offensive end because Cooney can barely move.
Boy, what a great turnaround jump hook by Christmas, and he just shakes his head.
Well, he saw the pressure coming, and he turned away from the pressure to the baseline.
6-point game. Back on their feet at the Carrier Dome. Shot clock at 8. This is for 3. Bang! And again he answers. What a game he's played, Chris Jones. 5 for 6 beyond the arc, and here's a foul against Benajay. So Benajay is fouled, and with 2:24 remaining, what a game at the Carrier Dome. We'll be back right after this.
ACC Network, an exclusive production of Raycom Sports. It's also streaming live now on the ACC.com and on the official ACC mobile app. 60-51 Pitt, 2:24 remaining in the ball game.
Now, Tim, how did Chris Jones get so open for this three-point shot? Jones is right here, and here's Jamel Artis. Watch what happens when Artis takes the ball into the zone. The zone collapses, and Chris Jones is then going to step into an open area. You can't be a spectator. Watch Jones. He's moving. He finds the open area. Artis knows exactly where he is, and Jones has been deadly from out there all day long. 5 of 6 from beyond the arc. 19 points for Jones.
Benajay at the line. It's a 60-52 ball game, 60-53 ball game. Benajay coming up big in the ball game here. Patterson comes back in.
And Cooney goes out, and he's very delicate sitting down over there. What a warrior he has been today, even being in the game.
Well, when he's in there, they've got to guard him. He takes up a body, so you're right. That's huge in their game plan.
Yeah, but he can't move well enough to try to apply pressure, and that's what Syracuse has to do now.
30,144 folks in here today, and Pitt throws it away. And the 30,144 love it.
Really good effort by Syracuse right there. They're not in any sort of a panic. You don't have to start fouling. You've got some time, but now the challenge is to get down and get a quick bucket.
Under 2 minutes to play. Good two-man game there with a give and go, and it ends up in a bucket.
Now, Roberson did a nice job that time. They weren't even guarding him. Artis was standing down in front of Christmas, and Roberson made them pay for it. And this is what we're talking about. Roberson is standing out. Artis isn't anywhere near him. Artis is down trying to cover Christmas, and Roberson makes him pay for it by going to the basket. Look at Artis, number 1 in blue. He's trying very hard to get back to Roberson, but Roberson takes it hard to the goal.
Well, earlier we asked you the trivia question, which Syracuse player has recorded the most career double-doubles in school history, and the answer is Derek Coleman. Boy, what a great player Derek Coleman was. The late 80s. I watched him crack a backboard one day in this very Carrier Dome.
Well, that's a retired jersey, and early today Syracuse retired 2 more jerseys. Roosevelt Bowie on the left there, Louis Orr on the right. The Louis and Bowie show.
What was great when they spoke at halftime, Roosevelt talked about his love for Louis. Roosevelt gave it right back to him. Boy, they do a nice job breaking the press.
Well, but Syracuse doesn't stop pressing.
And now timeout Pitt.
This is really an aggressive move on the part of Syracuse. Most of the time, even in late in the game when a team is pressing and the offensive team beats it and gets into the half-court set, sometimes the defense backs off, but not now.
Games down the stretch are always fun to watch. Coming up Tuesday at 8 Eastern, you'll see Rakeem Christmas again. Rakeem Christmas and Syracuse go to South Bend to take on Jaron Grant, number 10 Notre Dame. Or you'll be with me. I'll be down at NC State and Chapel Hill, take on number 15 North Carolina, who had an easy time with Georgia Tech. Find more information on how you can watch the ACC Network games on TV and online on the official ACC mobile app or the ACC.com. That brings us to a quick look at the standings as you look at how things stack up today. Number 2 Virginia doesn't score a lot of points, but they sure play defense and they win. 12-1 in the conference, 24-1 overall, looking for a number 1 seed.
All you need is one more than the other guy.
That's right.
This is exhausting.
Still get it back. Now they've got numbers. Artis with a down low pass. Syracuse comes away with it. Roberson again big underneath. Jump hook by Christmas. Timeout Syracuse.
Tremendous defensive pressure by Syracuse. Pitt playing just a little faster than they want to. That's Rakeem Christmas making them shoot the ball a little bit higher arc than they want. And then Christmas gets the ball right back down the court and just goes right to the basket. Young, remember, has 4 fouls. He cannot afford to be overly aggressive. Rakeem Christmas, after that slow start in the first half when he only had 6 points, he's got 20 in the game now. But this Syracuse defensive effort, when you have to chase somebody all over the court, chasing every pass, trying to double team, that can really be an exhausting effort. But when you're rewarded with a steal, makes it all worthwhile.
It's a great point, Dan. Not only does he have 14 points in the second half, he's 7 for 9 from the field. And all those rebounds you talked about.
Well, he's got a double-double. He's got 20 points. He's got 12 rebounds. Got a couple of block shots and a couple of assists.
And it gets physical again. This will be called on Ron Patterson.
And that's only the 6th team foul, so the Panthers not in the bonus situation. Next foul.
Knocked out of bounds by Syracuse, belongs to Pitt. Patterson tried to sell it that it was last touched by the Panthers. No go. The Orange making it tough. Bring it into Artis.
So you got to move the ball quickly here if you're the Panthers.
Cameron Wright takes it across the timeline. Dangerous pass over to Jones. Artis. And Artis is fouled.
And Roberson, I think, is going to pick up that foul. And if you're Pitt, even though you're trying to protect the lead, you have to make Syracuse pay for pressing you. You cannot allow them to just chase you around. If you get an opportunity, you've got to attack.
It's a 3-point game. There are 63 seconds left. Artis at the line. And he makes his first free throw of the day for him. Closed captioning for ACC basketball is brought to you by Bojangles' famous chicken and biscuits. It's bow time.
Jamie Dixon quickly getting Michael Young out of the lineup. He wants a little bit more aggressiveness defensively against Rakeem Christmas down on the other end. Artis, an 80% free throw shooter.
He had a double-double against Syracuse in their first game this year. 20 and 10. Get it back out. This is a 3. Yes! B.J. Johnson again.
How about this? The missed free throw, and then here's Johnson. That is his 3rd three-point basket of the game. In ACC play, he came in shooting only 25% from beyond the arc, but he knocks it down, and it is a 1-point game. Cooney, struggling with that back problem all game long, is very happy. We said Syracuse needs somebody to knock down some shots. B.J. Johnson has been that guy down the stretch.
Pitt beats Syracuse 83-77, February 7th. Terrific ball game. And we've got another one here this afternoon.
Well, now, Tim, it's interesting because Syracuse has gotten themselves back into with 1 point by exerting full court defensive pressure, making it a scramble situation. But now they don't have to do that. There's plenty of time, 19.4 seconds between the shot clock and the game clock. Syracuse can play just tough defense, get a stop, and they'll have plenty of time.
We were here a couple of weeks ago, and we saw Wake Forest and Syracuse battle just like this down to the final minute. That game went into overtime before Syracuse won it.
And keep in mind the significance of this game for the Pitt Panthers. We talked about it at the start of the game. Pitt is battling for a potential at-large bid in the NCAA tournament, and this is a game that they can't afford to lose.
This is the NCAA tournament for Syracuse.
Syracuse sticks with the pressure.
Outlet pass. Young to the basket, too far under.
Christmas blocked it. Christmas blocked it.
But they didn't need to shoot that quickly.
Oh, it's a turnover. An offensive foul on Rakeem Christmas.
That's a turnover. 1-point game. They turn it over with 36.4.
Well, here's Young. He's driving to the basket, and what a defensive play by Rakeem Christmas. And up on the other end, I actually thought Benajay carried the ball right here, but it's an illegal screen on Christmas. And Jim Boeheim is really mad. He's got to be careful. He doesn't want a technical foul in this particular situation.
Well, they call that foul on B.J. Johnson.
And he fouled Robinson, and Robinson is not the guy you want to foul, but even if Robinson makes them both, it will still only be a 3-point game.
James Robinson, an 83% free throw
and
shooter.
It is a 1-and-1.
He's hit 76 of his 92 free throws this year. He's lucky he didn't get a tee. Three-point game. Still plenty of time.
You don't have to go for a three, but whatever you do, you got to do it quickly.
Back to Benajay. Into the paint. And he's fouled. That's a tough shot. That's when you say, oh, I didn't mean to foul him. Shot clock is off.
And these are two very important free throws right here.
This is the first.
See, now I think you got to foul right away.
19.3 seconds left. Got to watch the clock.
And don't foul him, though.
And timeout, Pittsburgh. Well, he only lost 2 seconds there.
Well, the problem is you somehow have to keep Robinson from catching the ball. He's the one guy out there you don't want to foul.
Well, you talked about Jamie Dixon and his Panthers trying to make a run to the tournament. This is what they have left.
And I think these are all games that the Pitt Panthers have to look at this and say these are winnable games. And not only are they winnable games, I think that the Panthers have put themselves in a situation where just about all of these are must-win games.
You know they beat Notre Dame and Carolina. 3 weeks ago, number 8 Notre Dame came to Pitt. Panthers got the upset when James Robinson hit the floater in the lane. 12 seconds left in that one. Then last Saturday against number 12 North Carolina, Pitt shot 65%. Sheldon Jeter, as you mentioned earlier, Dan, had a career-high 22 for a 13-point win there. Now, those 2 wins are quality wins against ranked opponents that will carry into the selection committee meeting. But you're right. They're 17-10, trying to get their 18th here today. I'm not sure they have to win all of them. I think it's pretty close.
And of course, you say, well, they got to do this, they got to do that, but you really don't know what you have to do because you don't know who is in the comparison, who you're being compared with. But I tell you what, it certainly helps if you win them.
It does. You're right.
Now that free throw miss was a big one because now if you foul the Panthers and they make 2, they're ahead 4 instead of 3. And so what you have to do, you got to try to keep the ball away from Robinson, and if you can do that, foul whoever else catches the ball.
Still plenty of time.
Make him give up the ball.
Almost had a 5. Now Wright's alone. 7.5 seconds left, and that may do it. And he missed the layup, and that will do it. Pitt wins 65-61, and this crowd is stunned.
What a furious comeback by Syracuse, and Pitt responded at the end.
That will help in the selection process. We'll be back.
ACC basketball is being brought to you by Food Line, official supermarket of the ACC. By Geico, official corporate champion of the ACC. By Toyota, official corporate champion of the ACC. And by New York Life, official corporate champion of the ACC.
For highlights and must-see moments from this game and others, check out theacc.com. Don't forget, coming up this week, NC State and North Carolina, Syracuse and Notre Dame. You've been watching coverage of ACC basketball on the ACC Network, an exclusive production of Raycom Sports, 65-61 Pitt. So long, everybody.